It's looking into camera or beyond it.
This is looking into camera. That's lovely. Okay, so the London boroughs are going to find out today by how much their budgets are going to be cut. Obviously, it's going to be some very difficult decisions for some of the borough leaders to take. What's your advice to them?
I mean, my advice is look at the experience of Manchester under Mrs Thatcher. A Labour leader there, Graham Stringer, was very thoughtful, decided, look, this is a long struggle, it's not going to be over overnight, and to protect the things that are the most vital and be prepared to let other stuff go. And recognise, I mean, it's not like, 30 years ago, council can increase the rates and get money from business. I mean, they're locked into this. The thing to do is preserve the core services that matter most and try and get the fairest spread of all of that.
Okay. Steve Bullock in Lewisham has recently detailed somebody to try and get community groups to help them to keep some of the libraries open, because libraries seem to be at the near the top of the hit list, regrettably, for a lot of authorities. What do you think about that sort of idea?
I think involving the community, what you don't want is, it's important to know that you do not want just this stuff announced at a council meeting. We need to engage the community. We need to listen to people saying what it is they think is most important in their area, their neighbourhood. But it's going to be incredible. These are the worst cuts since the 1920s, and that was because of World War I that left us in our biggest debt ever. And they're repeating the same mistake. Those cuts in the 1920s locked Britain into a decade of slow growth, whilst you had the roaring 20s everywhere else, and this is going to be the same. Okay. If this was going to work, you say it's painful, but we'll come through it. The tragedy is there's going to be all this pain. 3 years down the road, they'll realise it hasn't worked.
Okay. Now, you're getting very involved in the whole education protest movement. Do you think this is helping you, and how is it helping you in your campaign against Boris?
Well, I don't know whether it does or not. I mean, I've been fighting cuts all my life. I fought them first with a Labour government, well, actually under Edward Heath's government in the early 1970s, then a Callaghan government. About the only time in my life I wasn't fighting cuts was that wonderful 8 years that I was mayor, just as Gordon Brown really put a big increase into public spending, and we got £39 billion, which you'll see it coming through in Crossrail. If you got here on the East London line, you'll see it there. We invested.
If you became mayor again in 2012, and you probably still have a Conservative government, how do you fancy your chances of negotiating with them in terms of getting money coming into London as compared with Boris?
Well, they've got to make a choice, if I'm elected mayor, whether they want to repeat Mrs Thatcher's experience of ending this conflict, or whether they want to give me the freedom to try and move forward on this. Because key things that really matter, investing in further expansion of transport, building low-income homes for people on the waiting list, I can raise that money on the bond markets. And so, I mean, I don't expect Osborne's going to roll over and say, oh, you've won, Ken, here's another 20 billion. But what we don't want, and is blocking the ways in which I could go to the markets, as I did to get the money to build the East London Line extension.